Cardiovascular diseases are currently the leading cause of death worldwide. They claim over 18 million lives every year, twice as many as cancer. These include heart attacks, strokes, and all conditions linked to poor artery health. They can strike at any age, often without warning. While it's long been known that our lifestyle plays a key role in the development of these diseases, diet is one of the main triggers. Yet the advice we're given is often vague, contradictory, or even misleading. Some foods are unfairly demonized, while others, far more dangerous, go unnoticed. In this video, we're going to uncover the real enemies of your heart. We'll be debunking common myths, understanding how cardiovascular diseases develop, identifying the 10 most harmful foods for your heart. Before we dive in, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and hit the notification bell so you never miss an update. And if you find this content helpful, a quick like really helps me spread the word. Before identifying harmful foods, it's essential to understand how cardiovascular diseases actually develop. Without this understanding, it's easy to fall into the trap of outdated or oversimplified nutrition advice. Heart disease starts long before any symptoms appear. At the root, damaged blood vessels. These tiny internal lesions promote the buildup of deposits known as atherosclerotic plaques, which reduce blood flow. When these plaques rupture, they can cause clots, leading to heart attacks or strokes. But what causes this internal damage in the first place? Two main mechanisms are at play: chronic inflammation, oxidative stress, an imbalance between free radicals and antioxidants. These two processes weaken the cells of the blood vessels, accelerate aging, and set the stage for disease. At the center of it all, insulin resistance. This is a condition where cells no longer respond properly to insulin, the hormone that regulates blood sugar. The result? The body produces more and more insulin, creating a vicious cycle of fat storage, inflammation, and hormonal imbalances. Insulin resistance is not a life sentence. It's a temporary response to an unhealthy lifestyle, especially a diet high in sugars and refined carbs. By changing our eating habits, we can reverse this process and restore metabolic balance. Now that we've identified the root causes of heart disease, let's take a closer look at the foods that contribute to it, or even make it worse. Here are the top 10 offenders. We start with a food that seems harmless, maybe even healthy: white rice. But it's actually a highly concentrated source of starch. Once digested, it causes a rapid spike in blood sugar. The body responds by releasing insulin. Eaten occasionally, rice isn't a problem. But when it's part of a daily diet already rich in processed foods, it adds to the glycemic overload. In traditional Asian cultures, rice was eaten in moderation, as part of an active lifestyle with limited calorie excess. Today, combined with sedentary habits and high sugar intake, it promotes metabolic imbalance. White rice paves the way for other refined carbs. But there's another everyday food that's even more problematic. White bread is another pure starch source, but it brings an added issue: gluten. This protein can irritate the intestinal lining, trigger chronic inflammation, and cause digestive issues, even in people who aren't allergic. Many gluten-free products swap wheat flour for other starchy ingredients like rice flour or cornstarch, which have the same effect on blood sugar. The result? Repeated insulin spikes and an increased risk of insulin resistance. After carbs, let's move on to another common substance whose effects are often underestimated: alcohol. Alcohol is a toxin that only the liver can break down. In small amounts, the body can manage. But once consumption exceeds the liver's capacity, the consequences are serious. Liver inflammation, fat buildup, fatty liver, and metabolic disruption. Fructose, found in sugar, acts similarly to alcohol in the liver. Together, they cause metabolic overload and premature aging of liver cells. It's best to drastically limit alcohol intake or opt for dry, unsweetened options like gin or whiskey. Alcohol may be sneaky, but it's far from the only danger. A much broader threat hides in our pantries and grocery stores: ultra-processed foods. These foods are designed for taste, shelf life, and profit, not health. They're packed with added sugars, refined vegetable oils, flavor enhancers, preservatives, and colorings, while being low in fiber and nutrients. This imbalanced cocktail disrupts satiety signals, promotes overeating, and causes deep hormonal disturbances. The outcome: calorie overload, weight gain, chronic inflammation, and a dysfunctional metabolism. These products are everywhere, especially in fast food chains. Fast food is the perfect example of a complete but toxic meal. Burgers, fries, sodas, sugary sauces, every item is loaded with processed ingredients, sugars, refined flour, additives, and hydrogenated oils. A typical fast food meal can easily contain 300 to 400 grams of carbs, much of it from added sugars. That's the equivalent of 30 to 40 sugar cubes in one sitting. And these meals are usually drenched in one invisible but powerful ingredient: refined vegetable oils. Extracting oil from seeds requires heat, pressure, and chemical solvents. The result? An oxidized, nutrient-poor oil with high inflammatory potential. These oils, like soybean corn and industrial canola, are everywhere in processed foods and sauces. Excess consumption throws off the omega-3 to omega-6 balance, fueling inflammation. On the flip side, cold-pressed virgin oils like olive or coconut retain their antioxidant and protective properties. These seed oils are even more dangerous when repeatedly heated, like in deep frying. Frying becomes a problem when using industrial seed oils heated to high temperatures, sometimes multiple times. These degraded oils generate toxic compounds, like aldehydes and lipid peroxides, that harm cells. Occasional frying with stable saturated fats like ghee or coconut oil can be tolerated in an otherwise balanced diet. And among the most processed foods, some try to pass as healthy alternatives, like margarine. Margarine is often made from hydrogenated oils, a process that turns unsaturated fats into solid ones. This creates trans fats, which are notorious for damaging the cardiovascular system. These artificial fats interfere with cellular function, especially the mitochondria, the powerhouses of our cells. Their toxicity is so severe that many countries have banned or tightly regulated them. But the worst offenders are products that combine all these harmful ingredients into one. These are the worst of industrial food combined: added sugars, refined flours, hydrogenated oils, artificial flavors, frying, and additives. It's a metabolic bomb. They spike blood sugar, overload the liver, promote weight gain, trigger inflammation, and lead to chronic fatigue. Even occasional consumption has a noticeable impact. And if one ingredient had to sum up all these risks, it would probably be sugar. Is everywhere in the modern diet. It offers no nutrients, disrupts appetite regulation, promotes insulin resistance, and acts as a toxin on the liver, just like alcohol. It's found not only in obvious sweets, but also in sauces, bread, ready-made meals, cereals, juices, yogurts, and even canned foods. Most people drastically underestimate their daily intake. Contrary to what we long believed, it's not natural animal fats or eggs that threaten your heart. The real culprits are added sugars, industrial vegetable oils, and ultra-processed foods. By choosing a simple diet based on whole, unprocessed, nutrient-rich foods, we can not only prevent heart disease, but even reverse some of its effects. Real change doesn't come from deprivation. It comes from a better understanding of how our body works and what truly harms our health. If you found this video helpful, feel free to leave a comment with your thoughts or questions. And please consider sharing it. It might just be the information that changes someone's life.